Yo, what's going on, Bully fam? It's Henry A here with Bully Kings, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make puppy mush for the first time. So, the way that I make puppy mush, guys, most people will make it in a blender. I don't like making it in a blender, and I'll tell you guys why I don't. The reason why I don't like making it in a blender is because it comes out too soft. When you blend it, it turns into a powder. I don't like doing that because the goal here is to try to train the puppies to learn how to eat kibble. You know, you want to train them to learn how to eat the kibble, so when you start giving them the dry kibble, they're able to eat it properly and not choke on it. So I don't like blending it. What I do instead, guys, is I grab a little bit of dry kibble. I'm going to show you guys. The kibble that I use is, it's actually called Diamond puppy food. I use the purple bag. I'll put up a picture of that. How much do you feed them? I don't weigh it out, guys. The way that I feed them, once they're a little bit older and they're able to eat mush, I kind of just go by sight. You know, you look at the puppy, you look at the size of his stomach, and imagine how much he could eat. You know, if his stomach is this big, you feed him that much of food, you know. So right here, I've got some kibble. I put the kibble in here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some goat milk with this. I'm going to mix it up. And I'm also going to add some Pedialyte. I like adding Pedialyte because I like keeping them hydrated. Since they're not getting any water yet, I like keeping them hydrated until they're able to drink water by themselves. So I'll put a little bit of Pedialyte on there. How do I do it? I got my goat milk right here. And I grab this syringe. If you don't have a syringe, it's kind of eyeball it, guys. It ain't that crazy, you know. It's pretty simple. Like I said, just imagine your puppy's belly and how much you can fit in there. So look, we're gonna start with the Pedialyte. I had this is a 10 cc syringe. I had one full 10 cc syringe of Pedialyte on there. The reason why I do this is because this is gonna help soak this up. You know, once you soak this up, the dry kibble is gonna suck that up. It's going to get a little bit moist and it's going to soften it up so it's not that hard on them. If you feed a newborn puppy that's just learning how to eat kibble, dry kibble, he's going to choke and he might die. So you don't want to do that. So I put one Pedialyte and then I put 2 of milk. This is for one puppy. Depending on how many puppies you do, you're going to put 3 of these, 2 of the milk and 1 of the Pedialyte for each puppy. And like I said, if you don't have a syringe, just kind of eyeball it, guys. You don't want your mush to be too watery. Why? Because if it's too watery, what happens is they'll start to eat it, and once they start licking it, and they get really excited with the good flavor, and what happens is that they'll start aspirating it. It'll go through their nose, and if they go through their nose, they can get pneumonia, they can get sick, and they can end up dying. So you don't want it to be too watery. You also don't want it to be too dry. Now, I'll give you guys a key point. If you try feeding them to your dogs, to your puppies, and they're not really eating it, they're not loving it, they're not loving how it tastes, you might want to add more goat milk. The smell and the taste of the goat milk is what attracts them, so you want to add more goat milk. Another thing I add, guys, it's canned pedigree food. So this canned pedigree food, the same thing, guys. You put 1 tablespoon per puppy. So if you got 1 puppy, you put 1 tablespoon. You put that in there, and you mix it up. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it in the microwave, guys. So this is for 1 puppy. Show you guys what it looks like. It ain't much, you know, it's just a little bit in there. This is just for 1 puppy. I put it in the microwave for 1 minute and 30 seconds. You want it to go to heat up pretty much just before it boils. That 1 minute and 30 seconds for 1 puppy, that covers it. If you got a bigger cup, I use a coffee mug. If you got a bigger cup and you're trying to feed more puppies, you might want to add a little bit more time. But be careful, if you add too much time, what will happen is that it'll boil and it'll overflow over the cup, and then you got a mess going on in your microwave. Okay, so now when this is finished, what I do, I'll keep it in the mug for about an hour. So right now it's 7 in the morning. I feed my puppies at 8 in the morning and I feed them again at 8 p.m. So 1 hour before I feed them, which I feed them at 8. So at 7, what I do, I prepare their food. I get it in this mug like this. And once it's ready, you see this is already steaming. Once it's ready, you're just gonna mix it up and you're gonna squeeze, try to just squeeze it. The more you smush it, the more you're gonna smush the kibble. So I do this about 3 times in between that hour. So I wait an hour before I feed them, that way it can cool down. and the kibble can suck all that up. This is gonna soften it. So I squeeze everything together. Here I squeeze that meat that I put in there, that canned meat from the pedigree, and the actual kibble. I'm squeezing it, and the more I squeeze it, the mushier it gets. I squeeze it with a spoon. And if you feed it to them right now like this, it's way too hot, one. And two, the kibble's it's not moist enough yet. It's not soft enough. So you need to smush it up. The more you smush it up, the better it's gonna be for them. So after an hour, guys, you're gonna pour it on here and go feed it to your puppy. But then you ain't done yet. So once you're feeding it to your puppy, since this is first time eating mush, you have to wash them. You might want to put them by the bowl, put a little bit in their mouth, get them to eat. You know, they're not gonna go straight to it. Most puppies don't, some of them do. But wash them, guys. This is our first time eating mush. You don't want them choking on it. So if they start to choke, you're gonna have to pull it out their mouth. You know, don't panic. Let them learn by themselves, but definitely wash them until they're done eating. Now, what I do, guys, if they do not finish their food, most of the time, the first time they don't finish it, you might want to have to go back and give them a little bit of regular milk, you know, just until they get the hang of this. And if they got some leftovers, guys, I just cover it up to not get no bugs, or because the flies will try and come and eat this, you know, the little fruit flies. They come in and they're annoying. At least here in Kentucky, they are. But you put this in the bowl, you cover it up, and you feed them again in the afternoon. So if I feed them again in the afternoon at 8 p.m., what I do, I just put a little bit more goat milk in there, you know, get a little bit more moist. I use the syringe. I put a 10 cc's more on top because it dries up from here to the afternoon, the leftovers. So I put a little bit more and I feed them that again. And yeah, like I said, guys, make sure you're watching them until they're done eating. Once they're done eating, grab some baby wipes, clean them up because they're gonna be messy. They're gonna have that food all over their face. They might even get their paws in the bowl. The reason why they get the paws in the bowl is because they're trying to squeeze it. They think it's a mom's tip. In their brain, they don't realize what's going on, you know, so you gotta wash them. They're gonna get real dirty. Once they're done, clean them up because if you leave all that food on their skin, it can irritate their skin. And also, if you have your puppies in shavings, which I do, you don't, that shavings is gonna stick to their body, and you don't want that to happen. One more tip, guys. What I do, if you're feeding them on top of the shavings, you don't want them to get inside no shavings or wherever you're feeding them. I like to put a tray, like a puppy tray, the ones that come in those cages, you know, those small little cages that have like a black tray in the bottom. I put that tray in the bottom, I put the bowl on top, and then I put the puppies on top of the tray. Why? Because they're gonna get messy. It's gonna be food everywhere, so you don't want that mess everywhere. I just put that tray. It helps keep everything cleaner. But yeah, guys, that's how you make puppy mush. I hope this video helps you guys out. Like I said, I don't like using the blender, guys, because the point here is to try and get the puppy to learn how to eat kibble. Now, if this is for puppies that are first eating kibble. When do I feed this to my puppies? When they're 4 weeks old. I've seen some people do 3 weeks old. If you ask me, 3 weeks old is a little bit too early. I do it at 4 weeks old, and now every week, so by the 5th week, once they turn 5 weeks old, I add a little bit less liquid, and I will also put less time on the microwave. So on the 5th week, I will put 30 seconds less. Why? Because you want to start making it harder and put less liquid. This will also make the food a little bit harder, less liquid. And this depends, you know. So by the 8th week, you want to have them ready eating full dry kibble already by the 8th week. Why the 8th week? Like I said before, the 8th week is when you're able to rehome these puppies. You're able to sell these puppies. In most states, it's illegal to sell a puppy before 8 weeks old. So you want to get them ready at 8 weeks old, you know, eating dry kibble. Normally by the 8th week I have them ready, but there is some exceptions. Sometimes you have a really small puppy, like a nano puppy, like that King Son that I got right now. That King Son is real small and they're a little bit late bloomers. So those puppies, I usually like to extend it to about 12 weeks old by the time I get them ready. So instead of drying this up and making it harder for them every week, I make it harder for them every 2 weeks. So instead of the 5th week drying it up, I do the 6th week and the 8th week and go by that, you know. Have them ready by the 12th week. Why? Because these smaller puppies, these nano puppies, sometimes they're not really able to catch on as the bigger puppies. So you need to make sure you're training them properly. That way by the time you rehome them, they're ready to eat that dry kibble. But yeah, guys, so I think I pretty much covered everything. The way that I do the mush for the puppies. And I hope this video helps you guys out, guys. I'm gonna take this to my King Yeezy's son, feed him this food, get his ass looking good, get him looking right. And if you guys got any questions, comments, or ideas, put them down in the comment section, guys. Actually, guys, I'd like to make a comment for you guys. I love seeing comments when people are telling me that I helped them out, man. Lately, I've been getting comments on TikTok, on YouTube, people telling me thank you, and they're really grateful for what I do because I helped them out, you know. And I love seeing those comments, guys, because I remember being in that same situation, you know, when you got some newborn puppies and you don't know what to do, and you're out here watching videos, man, and you're just like, sometimes you're panicking. You lose the mom, you got some puppies that need to eat, and you're like, what the fuck, how do I feed these puppies? You know, I got 10 motherfucking puppies. I don't know how to feed them. The mom ain't here, and then you're on YouTube watching videos. Sometimes you can be in a life or death situation, so you kind of panic, you know. And I remember being there, so when I get people messaging me, telling me thank you, I love seeing those comments, guys. This is part of the reasons why I do this. But guys, do not forget, man, I love giving free game, but I ain't no fool, you know. Sometimes I get people messaging me, trying to get freebies out of me. You know, I'm not no hoe nigga, you know, I'm not a fucking hoe. So I'm not here to give away freebies, man. I live off of this business, so if you guys can support by coming to me, don't forget, you gotta pay to play. If you wanna play with me, you gotta pay, man. This is just the way it is. You're not gonna get all free game off of me, so you can't be sending me these messages about some crazy shit. You know, I'm gonna catch up to it. You know, I'm gonna respond to messages, I always do. But when you're trying to get freebies off of me, man, and you ain't never invested with me, I'm not gonna give you all my wisdom just like that. You know, that ain't the way the game works, man. Like, I've been doing this for years. I charge for this kind of stuff, you know. This is how I make a living, man. You gotta respect the game. You can't be out here sending messages expecting to get freebies. Like I said, man, I'm always responding to questions because that's how you get your income, you know. You gotta fuck with the people so they fuck with you. But if I catch on to you that you're just out here trying to get freebies off of me, I'm answering some questions and you keep on going with some crazy questions, you ain't never done no business with me, I'm not gonna respond to you no more, you know? So don't forget, guys, you gotta pay to play. Holy Kings, baby.